Welcome back to the homestead, everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how we use our compost tea system to fertilize this entire raised bed garden. If you're joining us for the first time, in the last video I showed you how to make organic liquid fertilizer with our compost tea system that we use here on the homestead. If you haven't seen that video where I show you how to make the compost tea barrel and compost tea, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can check that video out. Now today, I'm gonna do like a part 2 update to that video, and I'm gonna show you how we pull the liquid fertilizer out of our 55-gallon barrel and use it to water or fertilize all of our raised beds on this side of our property. I'm gonna show you today 2 different ways that you can do this. We've fallen in love with this fertilizing system, and so we're gonna be doing this probably once or twice every single month. Because of that, we need a kind of a seamless solution, something very simple and easy that we can do so that when we do it twice a month, it's not so burdensome. So behind me is our compost tea barrel, and as you can see, we have some pallets. Now you could use anything. You could build a structure for this, but we're gonna be using these pallets just to get this barrel off of the ground. Now, this is the high spot of our raised bed garden over here. Our land kind of slopes down the hill like this. So this is gonna be the best spot for our barrel. Now, if you're gonna be doing this in your garden, you need to find the highest spot of your garden, because otherwise you're gonna be making up for it by just stacking tons of pallets or building a really tall structure. So use the lay of the land to your advantage to start with. So obviously the first method on how we're gonna get this compost tea out of this barrel is just by gravity. So let's jump right into it, and I'm gonna show you how we use the gravity fed method to fertilize our garden. So really all you're gonna need for the gravity fed system is just a hole saw, and then this is a bulkhead fitting. You can get this at Lowe's or anywhere, and probably any of your big box stores. I'll leave a link in the description below on where I got this from Lowe's. But all it is a fitting that goes through the barrel, and then this washer comes and cinches down on the inside of the barrel, and this obviously on the outside of the barrel. And then all we do is we have a simple hose fitting with a valve on it. This is 3/4 inch end, and this is 3/4 inch end. So it just screws right into there. And this is going to be put on the bottom of our barrel. So one thing we're going to make sure that we do is we're going to actually lift this off of the bottom of the barrel a little bit, because we do get some sediment down here at the bottom of our compost tea solution, and we don't want to be sucking all of that sediment out of the valve here on the bottom. So we're just going to lift this just off of the bottom of the barrel, and then that'll ensure we don't get all that sediment coming out. The other thing we're going to try to do is avoid these ridges right here. We don't want to be trying to get our bulkhead fitting on those ridges. So let's go ahead and drill our hole, say about right there. The next thing we'll do is just take our bulkhead fitting. We want the washer and the inner fitting off. Just pop that right through your barrel, and then we're going to tighten it down on the inside of the barrel. All right, so we got our hose fitting on, and then this is the inside, and we're off the bottom of the barrel, which is good. We could, if you wanted to, you could put a screen on this side of the bulkhead fitting. That way you're ensuring that nothing is getting through so far as sediment into your lawn. Okay, so that's most of the hard work. All we're gonna do now is stick our barrel on top of these pallets. One thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna leave my barrel kind of hanging off the edge here. So if I just wanna come up and grab a watering can or something like that, I can literally just hold it right here, turn my valve, and all my compost tea solution comes right out into my watering can. All right, so we have our barrel lifted, we have our valve in. Now, one thing you might wanna consider is ratchet strapping this down onto your pallets, because the last thing you want is for this thing to fall off break your system, break your barrel, fall on somebody, kill somebody. I don't know. You don't want it falling, period. So might want to think about ratchet strapping that one down. So now that we're done with this, I'm going to hook everything up and show you how well it waters. All right, we got our barrel totally filled with water. Let's go ahead and hook up our hose and see how much pressure we have here. All I have on my hose is just a little valve. You can get these anywhere. This is from Eden. I'll leave a link below in the description. You can check it out on Amazon. But it's just a simple head that has a valve on it. So there's our pressure. We got a good amount of pressure just from that amount of fall. So all you'll be doing, obviously filling your whole barrel with your compost tea solution. Again, if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can check out how I make that compost tea solution. And then once you're done, you're just gonna super soak your plants in by turning your valve on and just going right at the base of your plants. You're not going to be able to use a watering wand, and you're not going to really want to use anything that has small holes in it because of the sediment that's going to be in your compost tea solution. Now we use worm castings for ours. We put our worm castings in a pantyhose to try to help from that sediment breaking down into the compost tea. Even though we use something as thinly screened as a pantyhose, we still get a decent amount of sediment at the bottom of our barrel. And if you push that through a watering wand, it's going to end up clogging it like crazy. No electricity required. All you need is enough fall to get your entire garden area. Okay, so that's method number one for using your compost tea to fertilize your garden. I'm going to go into the second method that we've used here on the homestead, and that is using an irrigation pump to actually pump the water out of your barrel and get a little bit more pressure into your hose. Obviously with this method, you're gonna need some electricity. We do have electricity back here on this side of the property, so we can use an irrigation pump. This is a 1 horsepower sprinkler pump. Super simple, nothing to it. You can pick these up at your local big box store. I'll leave a link in the description below. You can check one out on Amazon if you want, but they're super handy. One thing you gotta keep in mind with these pumps is you do have to prime these before you use it. And if you're using it twice a month, you're gonna have to prime it every single time. Now, if you use these pumps a little bit more often, then it stays primed. You could, if you wanted to, attach a foot valve to this and put your foot valve in the compost tea solution. That would hold your prime. So let's go ahead and hook this system up and I'll show you exactly how it works. All right, we got everything primed, got everything hooked up. Let's go ahead and start our pump. So as you can see, we have tons more pressure. Like I said before, if you're gonna use this pump system, you're really gonna wanna make sure you're filtering your sediment really well, because these holes that are in the end of your watering wand, they're gonna get clogged nearly immediately. Trust me, I've already done this and I know. So if you don't have a good sediment filter on your inside your barrel, then this method's not gonna work. So that is method 2 with our irrigation pump. If for some reason you don't have pallets, you can't build a structure, or mobility reasons you can't lift your compost tea barrel, then a irrigation pump is going to be a great solution. So having gone through these 2 methods and testing them both out, I think for us the one that we're going to go for is method number one. We are going to use the gravity fed method because it requires no electricity. It is a gentle flow on the plants. You don't need a watering wand. I think that's going to be the best solution for us. But guys, do what fits your situation, your application, whatever it is. Do what's best for you. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for us here on the homestead today. I'm going to get started on our second batch of compost tea. If you haven't seen that original video where I show you how to make compost tea with this barrel, again, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can check out that video. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you in the next video.